Hey guys, PsY here, and I'm about to bring you another commentary. Just wanted to show you my opponent real fast. Someone recommended that I play ThisIsJimmy, and lo and behold, my first match of the day is against ThisIsJimmy, and it was a long one, so I'm going to get underway here. It's the 93 and 50 ThisIsJimmy in Ikale Omicron division, so if that's the real one, great. So here we go. Hey everybody, this is PsY once again, as I mentioned before, and this is going to be the match against ThisIsJimmy on Metalopolis. It's going to be a Terran versus Zerg. PsY in the north position as the blue Zerg, and ThisIsJimmy southern position as the red Zerg. And unfortunately, these are the only two colors there's ever going to be. I don't know why Blizzard doesn't randomize the color scheme or let you pick your color or anything like that, but it's just boring red versus blue for the time being. And this is on Metalopolis, one of my favorite maps, and it is a cross-position game, southern and northern. And I love Metalopolis, and especially when it is cross-position, you tend to see some longer games with all kinds of crazy strategies, tier 3 units, lots of brutal combat, fighting over these high yields in the middle, that sort of stuff. So this is a great game, and ThisIsJimmy has actually been casted by Husky StarCraft, by Ask Joshi, maybe HD did a game or two, I'm not sure, but if you do a search for him on YouTube, just type in ThisIsJimmy, you'll find quite a few games on him, so hopefully this is the same one. I showed you guys his record in the beginning, so he's obviously a strong player, and we're going to have a pretty nice game here in store for you all. We've got an opening that I have been a huge fan of, my 14 gas, 14 pool opening, sent my 12th drone to go out and do some scouting. Now, I'm doing this build before I know where ThisIsJimmy is. If I did know he was cross-position, I'd probably favor a fast expansion build, put down that hatchery at 14 first, and maybe a pool at 14 or 15 as well. But, you know, it's not going to slow me down too much to get that extractor and then that pool first. It's always nice to have speed on cross-positions, if not fast expanding. Gas down for ThisIsJimmy already, so we're actually that's not too fast, so we might see a tech lab on that barracks. Overlord doing a little bit of scouting. I'm going to be sending him all the way down here to keep tabs on his expansion, so I know when he expands and how I can react myself when he does do that. We're seeing some gas piling up, and I'm going to do my standard get 100 gas, pull men off, expand, and then put the men back on. And you'll see here, Overlord at 15 it was. Actually, you know what? I think I messed up a little bit. It's going to be at 16. So this larva, unfortunately, isn't going to be used until now. There we go. Getting a Zergling with that and getting my speed, pulling my drones off. We do see a tech lab on ThisIsJimmy's. That's going to be tough to say. I'm just going to call him Jimmy. Jim. So Jim is getting a Reaper, and he's going to be rallying it all the way up here, expecting some kind of fast expansion build, but I don't have a hatchery there yet. He's got a nice little SCV skittering away from my tiny little Zerglings. Close up. Oh yeah, you know that was dramatic. You guys know it. No lings on the towers yet, but I would be well advised to stick some lings on there. Very nice for some map control. Speed not quite up for my Zerglings, lag up a little bit. So it's going to be tough to deal with this Reaper until I do get my speed, but there's no way he's going to be able to do enough damage to take out this hatchery. So I'm not too worried. I'm just going to try to distract him as much as I can, just in case he tries to follow up with something to try to destroy this hatchery. So lings just kind of bouncing back and forward, back and forward, back and forward. Oh, run away, lings, run! Losing 2 lings so far. I'm putting down a Roach Warren, and the reason I'm putting down a Roach Warren without scouting any of his tech right now is because Hellions are a very common follow-up to this fast Reaper build, and that was what I was afraid of. Hellions just soaring across the map, able to catch that Reaper surrounding him. Hellions very fast, going to travel up here and take my minerals out, and they're just so annoying. I have lost so many games from players just going like 4 Hellion with igniter pushes. It's so damn annoying. Sorry about that. I almost died. Ugh. I almost died there in a second. Okay, so he is putting down an expansion. My expansion is up as well. Pretty good saturation. They're very nice. Zergling's just kind of chilling here, seeing if he's putting down any expansion. And now going up the hill, seeing a command center, and seeing a factory. So a fast expansion from a Terran player on cross positions, not uncommon at all. So what does this tell me? This tells me I need to just pump out the drones out my ass at this point. Nice drone transfer there. And let's just take a look at the harvester tab. Getting a lair on my expansion just because I did produce a queen at my main. I didn't want to wait for that queen to finish before I got my lair. So I'm just going to go mass drones. This basically tells me that I'll be completely safe doing this strategy. We're seeing now 2 more Raxes from Jimmy, lifting off that orbital command and planting it down at his expansion. These links would be well advised to actually go down here and try to stop this. It's very nice to try to deny any expansion as long as you can. Unfortunately, I don't quite catch it in time. I should have been a little bit more aggressive, bouncing up this hill and back down and that sort of thing. But he does land it, and he gets a nice little transfer going. Now look at the harvester count still, 34 to 25. So you don't need to panic at Zerg when Terran does fast expand. You just have to out-harvest them, tech early. You're seeing a pretty quick lair here. And also take an early third base, which is exactly what I'm going to do this game. So we are seeing 2 more gases down for me. Quick gases just because I was able to get such high saturation so early on. And we're seeing a spire being put down as well. Right now, ThisIsJimmy is just focusing on his economy as well as I. Armory going down. He's got 1 factory and 3 tech lab barracks. Got himself supply locked a little bit. Bunker kind of thwarting any ling attempts I might try to throw at him. Seeing that roach speed upgrade. Not going to be pumping any roaches right now just because I'm not too sure of his unit composition. All I can really see was those couple of Marauders and that Reaper that he had up in the hill as well. Reaper now just kind of hanging out in that bunker. Sending out some more lings down here. I do have 1 ling on each of the towers. Always a nice investment. 25 minerals for this kind of scouting. I will take it. And this Overlord is just kind of chilling over here. Never did end up sending him over here to this expansion because my lings were in pretty good position to spot that themselves. At least he's keeping an eye on the 3rd expansion though. And you'll see I am trying to, what I'm doing now, I do have my speed. I researched that because my economy is doing great. Spire just going up, getting an evolution chamber as well. Taking my 3rd base at 9 minutes, so because we're so far away, I can kind of expand away from him. So I didn't want to expand here. So hard to try to control. And of course you don't really want to expand here, here, here. Those are much further away, just as close to me as they are to him. And sending in some lings a little bit early, going to be very annoying. Kill all 3 of his SCVs mining gas. Going to try to pick off a 4th SCV right here. And now there's a little bit too much for me to pick off another SCV. So running away with these lings. Losing about 5 or 6 lings, but killing 4 SCVs. And most of all, I don't think he's noticed that he's losing the gas right now. So pretty neat little trick. Just try to kill any SCVs you can on gas first of all, and just hopefully it'll take them a while to get back on mining. So check out what I'm doing with these Overlords as well. I'm trying to spread them out and get complete sight of any air that's trying to travel and do some crazy drops and that sort of thing. Also sending in some mutas as well. 3rd base still working on completing. Lag. Oh, we got 2nd evolution chamber is up. Not doing anything too tricky right now. Whoa, drones! Oh my god. Broken rally point. Holy cow, I don't even know how you accidentally rally workers down there. That is crazy. That's a blunder. He does have some missile turrets. We saw a scan from him earlier. He was able to see my spire being produced. And that 3rd base is up and running. Notice how I get the gas very, very quickly. My minerals are skyrocketing. And this is one thing in this game I could have done so much better. Zerg players, when they reach this 2 base full saturation or almost full saturation, they tend to get very, very high on minerals. And there are a couple things they can do about that. They can either expand like crazy, take an expansion here, here, or here. Or they can produce 1 of 2 or 2 different units that have a very nice mineral to gas ratio. The first one being the roach. 3-to-1 mineral to gas ratio. Of course, roaches aren't always going to be good, especially if your opponent is massing marauders, which we see about 12 of. 12, that's terrible math. Well, now we have 12. Okay, now we have 16. 16 marauders and 3 Thors. Roach is not a good idea. And the other unit that is very good mineral to gas ratio for Zerg is the... Well, let me try to find a larva. Okay, it's the Hydralisk. Here we go. With a 2-to-1 mineral to gas ratio. Other units, not so good. We've got an Infester. No, Mutas 1-to-1. Corruptors are very situational, so of course I'm not going to be massing those. And Zerglings, Overlords, and Drones, you just don't have enough larvae to spend well on. So one big mistake I made this match is not getting a Hydra Den. I don't even have a Hydra Den. I've got 3 bases. I've got tons of money to spare. Why not just throw down that additional tech if I do need it? What kind of composition would work great against this army? I do see this army with my Overlord. So what do I get? I'm getting Lynx and a couple Roaches. I don't go too heavy on the Roaches because only a fool would get Roaches against this army. And I'm getting Mutas. Now what would work even better than Lings and Mutas? Lings and Hydras. Hydras are so strong against Marauders. Lings take 4 shots from a Marauder kill. They take 1 shot from Thor, of course, but 1 Ling for a Thor shot is a fine trade. You'll let the Thor waste his time killing those Lings. And Hydras will just shoot away from the back, so I don't quite have the ideal force. I've got a lot of Lings, couple Roaches, a lot of Mutas, which are pretty effective against Thors if you don't clump them up too badly. But we're going to see a little fight here in a second, taking my 4th base. Fortunately, he didn't see that 4th base. He is putting down his 3rd base, and he's just continuing to mass Marauders and Thors. I am 1-1 on my Lings. My air units don't have any upgrades, and I'm waiting until he gets onto the creep to engage. He's pushing forward with a huge medevac lag force. Oh my god, this is... there we go. Medevac, Marauder, Thor force. And let me slow this down for a little bit. Notice what I'm trying to do here. I've got some Mutas spreading out, some over here, some over here. I think I might even bring some over here. No. But what I want to do is spread out my Mutas as much as I can for when I engage. The Thors will not just completely own them all at once. Notice how they're coming from different directions. Lots of Lings running in. More units reinforcing from the west here as they're being created. And it does not look like I'm doing too well. My ground forces are all dying so quickly, but my Mutas luckily are still alive. Unfortunately, I clumped them up so badly right here, and he's got quite a few SCVs repairing this Thor. I'm going to need to take out these Thors because he just is dominating the ground right now. I'll speed it back up for you. And the Thors, if they can get destroyed, he won't be able to shoot the Mutas anymore with his Marauder. So I'm frantically trying to kill this last Thor. Come on. Luckily, the SCVs are getting bounce killed. 3 Mutas left, but so many freaking Marauders. The only thing I have going for me right now is I have a lot of production capabilities, and these Marauders aren't too well upgraded. They're very weak, so a swarm of Lings should be able to finish the job. Unfortunately, I did have my Hive at this natural expansion, so now I am upgrading to my lair before anything else. I want to make sure that I have the tech available that I need, and finally some Lings are able to come in and mop that up. So losing my Hive, poor unit composition, Hydras instead of Mutas. I would have had about 25 Hydras or so, and I would have done just fine. Just mass out the Lings, maybe even some Mutas to eat up some damage, but notice I was able to get that Ultra Cavern out in time, now starting my 2-2 melee upgrades. Pretty fortunate to be able to fend off that attack. He had a very nice composition compared to mine. Mutas did prevail somehow. I guess the spread out of the Mutas was enough to keep the Thors from just obliterating them instantly. 4th base is up. Struggling to take out this missile turret, but he's got so many SCVs surrounding it, even with my Lings supporting him. They're just not going to do the trick. Planetary fortresses are just so insane. They just killed all my Mutas so quickly. I want to see how many kills it has, but I can't. A couple of Mutas scouting out this 4th base. And if you look at the harvester count, it is still 47-70. So I have a nice little advantage still. A lot of them are distance mining. I was able to transfer some of them, but some of them are just kind of going crazy. I need to take this expansion back. There it goes. And if we check out the production tab, I'm getting Zerglings and Ultralisks. Okay, now ask yourself, why is PsY getting Ultralisk? The enemy's composition last fight was Thors and Marauders. How about a little scouting before you go and make a kind of commitment like Ultralisk? Maybe Broodlords, or just go back to the Hydras and Zerglings with maybe 1 or 2 Infestors mixed in? That would be super effective, Pokemon style, against these units. Yes, I just said that. I'm going to hit myself afterwards. But no, I'm getting